we've had a lot of great stories in the past few weeks about women in sports. And, I think it's really important to talk about these positive stories, especially, earlier this week we had the whole, horrible report coming out of the MLB, with dealing with some inappropriate behavior towards women in sports. So I think it's really important this week to highlight some positive things, starting with Jennifer King. She made history this week. This young trailblazer is now the first full-time Black female coach in NFL history after the Washington football team promoted her to a full-time offensive assistant earlier this week. She spent this past season there as a full-time intern working with the running back coach Randy Jordan. Obviously the Washington football team playing in the NFC East. They won their first NFC East title since 2015. Now, wasn't great competition, but still great for their team. And they found success in that running game. Antonio Gibson and JD, they developed into a solid dynamic 1-2 punch at the position. So, she's definitely has the resume, has the credentials to deserve that position, but it's definitely a really cool hire to see. I don't know if you guys, I'll start with you, Andrew, talking just about some of, this is a positive hire in the NFL coaching world, which we've seen some criticism this week about the lack of diversity in coaching. But do you see this as maybe being a positive step in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. And I mean, Jennifer King, she definitely deserves it. I mean, she spent 3 years as an intern. And like as a college student, think about spending 3 years as an intern and then just to get to that position. And she's obviously done a great job because you look at Antonio Gibson, JD McKissick, they're two guys that younger players, and they've progressed a lot over the last year. And the Washington football team, they lean on their running game. And she's obviously a big part of that. She definitely worked with them. And obviously, she, even before that, she was in coaching clinics for like 5 years as well. She was a wide receivers coach in the AAF. Like that resume is definitely great. And, it's just, we'll see what happens here. She's going to be an offensive assistant. I bet she'll have success just looking at her resume. And, you never know after that. And I feel like you look at coaches and all of sports, I feel like, you look at even guys like, I think it was Sean McDermott, who worked in like business before. So it's not like you need like this big football background or baseball with analytics. And that opens up more diversity and more people that can get into the sport, even if you didn't play it.
Absolutely. And she did play. She
Yeah.
was a professional women's football teams from 2006 to 2019. And I think what is really impressive about her, well, everything, but what specifically is that she's coached a lot of different levels and basketball too. She was an intern with Ron Rivera in Carolina. As you mentioned, Andrew, she was in the AAF. She was an offensive assistant at Dartmouth College. And before all of that, she served as the Johnson and Wales Charlotte women's basketball team from 2016 to 2018 and won a USCAA Division II national championship. And she was an assistant for the Greensboro College women's basketball team for 11 years before that. So she knows how to coach, and that's just as important, if not more important than knowing football, is how to coach people. And that's proven that she knows how to do that. And it's remarkable. 3 years as an intern, and now she's a full-time offensive assistant. And I would imagine that it's only going to go up from there.
Yeah, it's just so cool to see. And it's awesome when you have someone hired in this position and for a fact that, this is an example of somebody who completely deserves that position. And it's not just a publicity stunt. It's legit. And she's going to pave the way for so many young girls, young women, in the future. And you look at the NFL, over of 20 job openings over the past 3 years, just 3 were filled by minorities in the league. That has more than 70% of their players are minority players. So, it's not a great message for the league to say, you can run, catch, throw, tackle, you can be athletic, but, as far as leading and being strategic, we're going to hand that off to somebody that looks a little different than you. And so I think this is going to be a very important message to send, not only is this someone who's Black in a position of power, but also a woman